Welcome, beautiful souls. I'm grateful and excited to share with you another episode of Boss Talks, where powerful creators come together to uplift the universal consciousness. My name is Jadeverett Mayhorn, aka the Smoothie Guy, and I have a very special guest with me today. This man has been a super inspiration for me on my journey this past year, and I know he's been an inspiration for a lot of y'all. My boy Henry Mars, aka Mr. Boii McCoy himself. Welcome, my brother.
Oh, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
Man, it's great having you on, man. Like I have so many questions, and like we got to chop it up a little bit before, and you just got me super excited about this, man. It's like I know you have a lot of wisdom to share. I know you real big into God and the love, and treating people with love and kindness, man. Like as we
Yeah.
supposed to. And so, I know you were telling me that you really got started with your spiritual journey back in 2009. So can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what actually sparked your spiritual journey? Like, what got you interested and into this whole spirituality thing?
Um, I would say, like I said, like before it happened in 2009, really, but before, before that, like I was always like into like I was always open minded to like spiritual things, and so I grew up in the church too. Like I was actually baptized as a Mormon at 8.
Oh wow!
Like how that happened was like my sister ordered a Book of Mormon like online, and then the Mormons came and brought the Book of Mormon to our house, and then my sister let them in the house and they started talking to us.
Yeah.
And they ended up convincing like my parents to take us to church one night. And then like a couple months later I ended up getting baptized there at 8. But yeah, my mom was like a Catholic. My mom was a Catholic. Well, she is, yeah, my mom. My dad was like, I feel like we've kind of like bounced around like all types of like religions, and like I've been to like Catholic churches, I've been to like Mormon churches, I've been to Christian churches, like Jehovah Witnesses. Like there was a
You got the whole background.
yeah, there was a point in time where like I was in college, but like I said, like, I was open minded to those type of things all the time, but like I got like cool with this Jehovah Witness, and he would come through on some days and do Bible studies with me. And one day I forgot he was coming over, and I ended up I smoked before he came. He came and I was fucking high as shit.
Yeah.
So then like we're doing the Bible study, and I'm hitting them with like everything. Like I'm like usually I would ask questions, but this time I was asking like in-depth questions. Like I was like kind of like making him be like, "Oh wow, that's a good
Yeah.
point." He stopped me. He was like, "Henry, yeah, are you high?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm fucking high." I didn't know you were coming. I was like, I didn't know you were coming over today, but but yeah, other than that, but like it started in 2009, but and at the time, like I said, like I was just kind of like everyone, like I was kind of like a fairly like popular person in my area, like my town, but it's just like the way that it happened, it's just like I feel like I was kind of like thrusted into it, like I almost wasn't ready for it, but it's just like
What you
my
mean?
soul, but like my soul was ready for it. It's just like I feel like there's certain aspects and like certain lessons that like God and like the universe and love will teach you that you're not necessarily ready for, but your soul is ready for. I feel like our souls are like really ever ready. That's like our ever ready selves, like our
Yeah,
being,
yeah.
so it's like um yeah, so like I started like how it started, like um I started dreaming. I started having a lot of dreams, like just like seeing like a lot of the crazy like visions and dreams and things like that. Also to the point where like to go as far as saying that I started hearing like spirits and things like that. I started seeing like like shadow, like the whole shadow figures. I just started seeing all of that, and it's just like everyone thought I was going crazy, and I was,
Yeah.
because it's like I was just kind of like this, like I was just like a normal, or kind of like, I was like a normal dude, but then it's just like here I am, kind of like now it's just like, oh, like Henry's talking crazy. Like, no, like there's something happening in my life. There's something that wants to be acknowledged. So like, like on my Twitter with the black and white photo of myself.
Yeah.
So like, as I was like, kind of like at that point in time, I was taking in a lot of information, and I started getting into like astrology.
Mm.
And then I started learning about the phoenix of, I learned, like, because I'm an Aquarius, so I started learning about like the phoenix of Aquarius, and then like I started reading it, and then it said like, if you're one of these beings, then visualize the seal of the phoenix upon your third eye or your chakra. And then a picture I took of myself when I was 18 years old popped up in my head, and I went back to that photo, and I seen the phoenix in my face. And I was just, at that point, I was just like, like, okay, well, who am I really? Like, hold on one second. Oh no, it's not mine. Yeah.
So you're saying you had to figure out who you was. You had to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah, that's exactly, like, I kind of like, it was, yeah, there was because I didn't like, it was because I seen my soul. It's like I seen my soul. Like, I can't, yeah, I actually tweeted that the other day. Like, I can't unsee my soul. It's like, it's literally, it's not, it's hidden, in a sense of how you look at it, like on Twitter. If you look at it, you can't really, if you're not really, if your eyes aren't open, if you're not really if you don't know that you're looking for something, you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
But if you focus in and you be like, oh, like there's something in between his eyebrows, like up the head.
Yeah, and that's how you got to see it with. And it's like you were saying, like once your mind is stretched to new dimensions, like you experience some different stuff, like you travel into these different like mindsets and wavelengths and different universes. It's like you can never go back and see yourself the same after that.
Yeah, you can't. Like, you can't. So it's just like, at that point, it was just like, almost like, when that happens, it's almost like, once you expand, like once your mind and like your whole being expands like that, it's like it's almost like, it's like when you first come into like an awakening, it's like your universe, prior to that, just gets completely erased, and it's a new universe. And it's almost to the point where like now you can start choosing to what you want to fill into it. Whereas compared to before, you were just almost like you were given something, whereas like this is what it is. But no, when you awaken, it's like, no, that's not what it is. I make it what it is.
Yeah, it's like you kind of walking on autopilot. You sleepwalking until you come into this awakening. You the only awakening that really happens is you awakening to your choice. You have a choice to choose peace. You have a choice to choose love, to choose happiness. Instead of just like following like the society's norms, the fear, the jealousy, all the stuff that they try to force down our throats to make us be these people that we really not on the true soul level.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Like, it's like, we talk about spirituality, we're talking about God. And like, I'm curious, like a big thing for me and what I believe is like, I think that people treat people how they think God treats them. Whether you believe in a jealous God, a vindictive God, you start to act out those different traits. But, it's like, if God is loving and, kind, you're able to see yourself a little bit different. So
yeah.
What do you feel like God is?
God is, to me, God is pure love. Like, just pure love. It's really kind of hard to put into words, really. It's really just, I know that God is like my whole being. Like, I know from like, like to say, a lot of people, to say that you feel like you're God or that you are God, it sounds like a really pretentious thing to say. But but the reality of it is it's that like underneath the veil of like everything, like that's what we are. That's what we, that's, you know, like the stories of like, you know, you look, you know, I think back of like myths, like you look back of like the history of like what we consider myths, and like, you know, the phoenix, and like, you know, just the ancient gods or anything like that, you know, like these, you know, the actual reality of those things is that those were actual people. These are all actually, these are all these beings, all these great beings that we, you know, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, all these beings, they were humans, you know, and they're, you know, it's like, and like, and it's just like what I, you know, you realize that what it is, what they, when you look back on that, it's just like they were examples, you know, and it's just like, but I feel like a lot of people, you know, in the sense, there's nothing wrong with praising at all, but in like in more of the sense of like Jesus, it's more of Jesus saying like, no, be like me, like not saying like be love, like be like, if you know, if you're honestly, like if we're, I always say this, like if we're a child of God, you know, it's like, you know, that's the reality of that. It's like if you're a child of God and you're watching God, like, you know, the reality of it, say like you're God and you see God in a physical sense as like an actual father. You know, it's like you're seeing God doing all these like amazing things. And so as a child, you know, if you're a legitimate child of God, when you grow old, when you get older, you're gonna want to do what God is doing. You're gonna want to do what you see your father doing, you know? So that's in a sense of like seeing yourself as like a co-creator, or seeing yourself as like, you know, like if I'm made in the image of God, if God is my father, what am I going to grow into? I'm not going to grow into something else. I'm going to grow into what God is.
You don't have a choice. There's no other direction to go but back home to
Yes,
God.
that's, it's just like you,
It's like no matter what choice you make, good, bad, and different, it's like
yeah.
you on the way to God. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can awaken to your choice, or you can, you know, go on
Yeah,
autopilot
exactly.
and,
Exactly.
and it's like I'm glad that you brought up, you know, that you talk about Jesus, because people, like, you know, it's like people do worship him and feel like, you know, he's something that we cannot aspire to be. But in Psalms 82:6, Jesus said, "You are gods. You can do everything that I can plus more." So that
Mm-hmm.
was all of that. Like, you know, it's like with that in mind, it's like that's all I needed for me to be like, "Oh snap, my boy Jesus said this." Okay,
Yes,
let me
exactly.
go ahead and start following the path.
That's the reality of it. Like it's kind of like, I think one thing too is like, one thing I'm really really big on is too is like, is, you know, like standing firm in yourself, and like also like in you standing firm in yourself too, and we can both be that, we can both be powerful, and we can both be that, but we can still be vulnerable, we can still be open and honest with who we are. But it's just more so, it's like when it, like in that type of transaction, that type of like, you know, like stance of being for to another being, is there can't be no lack in that.
Yeah.
There can't be no lack in that. There's just like, we have to know that we're abundant. Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're abundant beings. Like we can't create limitation. So you know, in us, in our like abundant, our most abundant form, we're gods.
Yeah.
We're a reflection of God. We mirror God. You know, and it's just
Like it's crazy, like how like people, like, you know, how we've been taught that we have a disconnect from God, you know, that we have to pray to a middleman to get
mm-hmm,
to God, you know. And it's such a like horrible illusion that we've like been fed, because it's like, how, like, why would you need a middleman when
mm-hmm,
God created you? You got a direct connection. That connection has not, it can't be broken.
mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like when people feel like you're not whole, like, you know, it's like that mindset makes people feel like like they need something to complete them. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
void you're trying to fill, and it's like the void you're trying to fill is God, but people try to fill it with like partners and like
Mm-hmm.
religion and like trying to go and get absurd amount of money
Mm-hmm.
and not to say any of these things are bad in itself, but it's like when you try to go outside yourself looking for these things to fill
Mm-hmm.
that void inside you, it's like you working backwards. It's like
Yeah.
you've always been complete. You always been whole. You're abundant. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have that godly essence. And, it's
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's just like such a peace that you gain when you internalize, acknowledge, and kind of just like embrace that like love, that they really talk about.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah. So what's one piece of advice? It's like many people are coming to this awakening now. It's like 2020 has did a number on people, and so like now they looking to
Yeah.
find God. They looking to go and find something to bring them some peace of mind and happiness. It seems like people really
Mm-hmm.
want that now. And so,
Yeah.
like, what's one piece of advice that you would give to somebody on their soul's journey?
Uh, honestly, like I would say a lot, but like really, like what just came to mind, I'll just say, you're gonna lose your mind many times. You are. That's the reality of it. Like you have to not like. Well, like that's the reality of it. Like you're gonna lose your mind whenever you come, like I said, like you come into like knowledge that you realize you don't really know anything. And it's just like, and once you realize that, that's when you start knowing everything, almost in a sense. Like it's just like you kind of like it's almost like a chain reaction of you surrendering, of a complete surrender, and then automatically, like it's like the universe or God or whatever is like just it's like something asking for you to completely just like like annihilate yourself. But then as soon as you take that step, they give that self back, and then like it's like that. That's what a lot of people like. I'm really big on like surrender when it comes to like love and like spirituality and just like God and everything like that, because it's like unless you like really surrender to like the flow of love, like into like God and like to like your deepest sense of self, like you're going to be at the mercy of like other people, you're going to be at the mercy of other things, you're going to be at the mercy of like everything. So you have to like rise above that, so yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. It's like you gonna lose yourself, but it's like you gonna lose yourself to find yourself.
Yes, yes, you got.
Now go for it.
Yeah, you gotta let that self. I'm not that, but I think one thing too is, man, this is like one big thing too is um, like go like I said, it's like kind of like going beyond yourself to the self. It's just like you have to like there's so many different selves, and it's just like you can't be attached. You can't remain attached to like a self. You hold compassion for previous selves and things like that, but it's like I know that who I am in this moment will die to another version of like who I will be in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just like I love who I am in this moment, but like I'm also going to breathe life into who I'm trying to be like down the line, and it's like, so that's really what it is. You can't hold attachments to self. You can't hold attachments either. I feel like even with beliefs, like, things that are like are true for me today won't be true for me tomorrow, because nothing is linear. Things don't like time. Time isn't linear.
I was just about to go there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nothing is linear. Success, ascension, getting money, doing whatever it is like that you're trying to achieve in life. It doesn't go like this. And you get like I like the stock market because
Mm-hmm.
it really shows you a lot about people, because like you see these prices go up, but then you see them drop. But then you see them go up and you see them drop. But the difference is with like you go from one company to the next, you look at the foundation.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a strong foundation, you have your fundamentals, you have your, you have your blueprint and plan that you follow by. But it's like on the other hand, if you don't have a strong foundation, you'll be the one that go up, but then crashing down. It's like you got to be able to be like you said, it's a surrender, and it's like a surrender and like take. It's like you gotta be able to do that to be able to get to the next level.
Yeah, most definitely.
Man, that was a dope concept right there. I like and like being compassionate with your old self, because it's like if you hate your old self, that's still a part of you.
Yeah.
So it's like if you hate the old you, there's no way you can like the current you, and no way you can plant those seeds and water yourself to love you in the future. So it's like you kind of got to release that old mindset, old way of being, old way of doing. To kind of become this new person.
Yeah, it's like in a sense of like forgiving yourself for your unknowingness.
Yeah,
that's really what it boils down to. You're like, I feel like it's like our inability to. It's like almost like really in a sense of like accountability of like of me saying, like I can say for me or you to say that in a sense that we believe that we are like a God, or that we feel godly in a sense. So for us to say that, hold up, I completely lost my thought. But yeah, I'll get back to that. But it was a good thought. But I'm high as shit right now.
Yeah. So were you saying like to kind of embody like that feeling of God, like you I'm trying to see what you like, kind of where you were going with that. Like that sounded like some heat right there. But we come back to it if you.
We'll come back.
All right, so we'll change direction and go a little bit in another direction. So I know you're really big into music. I heard a couple of your jams. What you in one of the songs you was like, I'm a big G.
Oh,
you're a little G. Like
yeah. That was a track I did with that was the last song. That was the last track I released. I did it with
that was a jam. So like, what got you into music, and what got you really started, and what compelled you to want to get into that?
Well, like I said, I've always been a fan of music. Like music really just kind of like saved my life, like especially when my spiritual journey started. And I really turned to music. I got like I've always wanted to like make music, but it's just like I just never got around to it, because I'm low key like a perfectionist, to the point where like if I can't do something like perfect almost, then I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But when I do it, I'm gonna do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that's how it was. Kind of like I just knew, kind of like, I guess in a big part of like things like not to hold you back is like not being afraid to be like seen as a beginner in something. Like I'm not, once you get over the fear of like the illusion of being seen as a beginner in something, like it's something like that's like half the battle of doing anything, of starting anything new. So it's just like, if you can get past that. So it's just like, once I got past that, I was just like, well, I'm just starting out, whatever. Like, so I started I started making music around like, let's say 2015. Okay. Yeah, 2015, I started rapping with my homie. And yes. So yeah, but now it's like more, like I'm not like, I was one point in time like I was obsessed with being an artist, being a rapper and being like that. But now it's just, I feel like just because I'm just at a different like point in my life now, to the point where it's just like, now it's just, I just see me rapping as something that I can do. Yeah, like,
it's a great way to get your message out.
Oh yeah. And I mean, but at the same time, like, but when it comes, one thing I would say, like, when people do listen to my music, it kind of surprises them, because it's like, oh, this the shit that I say, like when I rap, like it's a totally different, like, when I rap, when I rap, like, like I'm not gonna let no one body me. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to like me being a rapper and stuff
For
like
sure.
that.
You gotta
Like,
shine. You gotta shine. You go do. You gotta
yeah.
do.
So, yeah. So I think that's what like trying to like get people to understand that when it comes to that rap aspect of me, like Boii McCoy, like the rapper is like you know that's just who he is as a rapper, you know. But you know, there's Boii McCoy as a writer, there's Boii McCoy as like there's things like that. So that's in that whole realm of this being like the whole Boii McCoy is based on the real McCoy, meaning like the real thing, like.
So what made you come up? How did you come up with Boii McCoy? Like, where did that stem from?
Okay, so Boy is my actual my actual nickname.
Okay.
Like no one in my family like ever calls me Henry. Everyone calls me Boy because I was the only boy in the family. So yeah, so they started calling me Boy, and then like I said, and then they ended up like I said, it stuck with me, like because it's like our sisters we get in trouble, and my sister would be like, my parents would be like, who did it? And my sister would be like, the boy did it, meaning as in like no, like the boy, the male did it. And then it's kind of got
dang, okay.
so it got to the point where like everyone started calling me Boy, and then like I started like I knew my name was Henry, but I was just like, oh, they just call me that. And I started noticing that like that was on my Christmas gifts. I was like, oh, this is my fucking name. My name is Boy. But so I infiltrated that into my into Boii McCoy, and like McCoy comes from the real McCoy, because I used to just go by just the Boy. Okay. Like in my rap name, like I used to just go by, or my Twitter handle was just the Boy, but then I switched it up and I changed it to Boii McCoy. Oh my gosh. I did that like maybe like 3 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's how I got the name. That's how I got that name.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Like I was curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You got any whenever it comes, you got any new music or anything coming?
Yeah. I mean I have a vault. I got a vault of music that I haven't put out, and it's because it's like it's just, I feel like a big part of it is just where I'm at right now in like my like spiritual journey and my sense of self. Like right now, like music, just me putting out music, or me even really tending to that area of my life right now isn't really like a top priority for me right now, because I still have a lot of music I could put out. It's just more so like if I want to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got you. And so like I heard when earlier you were saying like music like saved you along your spiritual journey. Like who was a couple artists that kind of like kind of guided you along your path?
Definitely Kid Cudi. Definitely Cudi. And then he's an Aquarius too, so like I just like whenever like when he dropped his first album, that was just like that really all his mixtapes too, like but yeah, definitely Kid Cudi, man. I just could like I think it was just more so, especially because like when that's around the time like my spiritual like awakening started, in a sense, in 2009. So
and so Kid Cudi got the vibes for the spirituality. Like
yeah.
Whenever you said Cudi, I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, definitely Cudi. Definitely Cudi.
That's what's up. Yeah, like I totally understand. Like I had a couple artists like Kanye got me through mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came into my awakening probably like around 2013 when he came out with that Yeezus. Man, literally like I became a different person after that. I was like, oh, this is what they be talking about. But that's what's up. So I got something else I'm just curious about. Like so I've been watching the Dragon Ball Super lately, and they talk about like different universes, 12 universes, the gods of destruction, God of creation. I'm not sure if you watch it. But like they talk about all these different realms, and so like I'm curious whether it's big or small. What's like something that you're most curious about right now that you're trying to figure out?
Um, just in general or
Yeah. Just
anything.
whatever come to your mind.
Um, I would say just the next step in human evolution when it comes to like um to go beyond just go beyond God consciousness to complete God body.
Hmm.
That's ultimately what I like. I'm fueled by like my kind of like my what I'm seeking. Like me as a seeker, like that's what I'm seeking. Like I want like really what it is like I want to taste flight like in a human body. You know? Like that's you never seen the movie Hancock?
Yeah, yeah,
I want to be like that.
yeah.
That's the type, that's the type of being that's the type of being I ultimately desire to be. You
Yeah.
know, so it's just like whatever I have to do to be that, like I'm gonna surrender to that and like be that.
I
So
got you.
really, so really that's what it is. It's like this. I really want to break like the whole mold of like limitation of being like a human being, you know, of being able to experience the fullness like in a human being. Like I know that like, you know, that like I know there's more. I know there's more to this.
Yeah.
I know that we have like the power of like 1,000 suns in us. Like I know that. Like, you know, even like I said, we went with Dragon Ball Z, like what it is. It's like even with my like, you know, I'll tell you a quick side story with that. Around the time like when my spiritual like journey started, like I started learning more about like the Phoenix the aspect of myself. Like I wanted to know like what it meant to me. What is it like how powerful it was and whatnot. And I was just really that's all I was like desiring in my soul at that point in time to know. And like one night like I had like it was people, you know, remember it might be seen as like a lucid dream or whatnot, but like I believe it was just like I believe it's like I don't know, like it was just to explain how it was. Okay, so I was like I was with myself, like another version of myself, walking with myself, right, in the dream or the vision, whatever this was. But and it's like I wanted to know like the power. I wanted to know how strong we were, and he was like, and I was as I was talking to myself, like I was like, okay, well, you want me to do it or you want to do it? So he was like, so I was like, I'll do it. It was weird because it was like it was both of me saying it, so it was just kind of like, but my other self went out into like this kind of like this open area, and it's kind of we were like in this void, this white void, and then myself was like, okay, I'm about to do this. I'm about to show you, and he was just like standing, and I seen it, but like I could feel what he was feeling, but I was just observing. And but I was also that self. I was also that self in but I'm about to show you. What I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
So then I started like I noticed that there was something that like it started from like the top of my head. It would start from like this. It would start from like the top of my head and go through my body and then go to my feet and then come back from my feet up to my body constantly. And what it was doing like my whole body was turning silver and turning into light. And I was just like I was like almost like I was channeling like this energy in myself, like to the point where like it was like brighter than the sun. And then it's just like I was, you know, it got to the point where like it was so powerful and strong that like I don't know, like I almost to the point where it's just like it felt like the wrath of God of like of knowing yes, this was this, and then but it felt like a vision. It felt like a vision. So like yeah, so I'm doing this, and I'm like as I'm feeling like me the self that's observing and watching. I'm looking at it, and I'm just in awe of it. But the self that's actually doing it, as I tune back into that self, like I don't know, bro. Like it's the most powerful feeling I've ever felt, like ever in my life, like ever, like and I remember like it felt like I was screaming like a lion, like because it was that powerful that I was like roaring. I was like, it's like I was going Super Saiyan.
Yeah. That's what it made me think about. Hey, what part of your journey did this happen? Like, what you remember? What year this happened?
This was in 2010.
Okay,
This
so it was
happened.
after you. Okay, dang, that's
Yeah,
wild. That's wild.
yeah, and then okay, so then yeah, so then not only that, but also like I said, like my hair, like I said, like and none of that. I didn't honestly, I'm not even like really into Dragon Ball Z like that. Like I never really watched it like that growing up. But I mean, I knew who the characters were, but I was just never really into it like that,
Yeah.
But so
Shit, you
for me to see
experienced it.
that, I was just like, it's like it was just like the most powerful feeling I ever felt. So then after like it happened, I came back to myself, and then I woke up in my bed, and I immediately jumped out, like as soon as like the like that part of the vision or the dream was over, like I felt myself kind of like my two selves almost
Like, right?
kind of like,
Oh, hey, man, that's crazy.
yeah. So then I woke up. And my room was completely dark.
Yeah.
But there was like I had my blinds slightly open. So like also like the moon was out that night. And so there was sort of like light in my room. But also as soon as I woke up, 30 seconds after at least I would say like 15 to 30 seconds, to be completely honest. For like 15 to 30 seconds after I woke up, I was like my bed and my whole being and everything was covered in black flames. And like that's when I thought at that point I thought I was like going crazy. And I thought yeah, I thought I was going crazy. And then it's like I was just like I woke up and I was just like I was kind of like breathing heavy. I was just like, yo, that was like and not only that, my homies were there at the crib, but I was just in my room knocked out. And I went in there, I immediately told them the same story. I was like, bro, I don't know, just like I don't know if it was because we were smoking or not, but I just feel like I do like something has happened to me in there. Like I just turned into like a fire being or something like that.
Bro, that's
But
crazy.
yeah, so it's just like, and it's so when it comes to like things of like I think a lot of like spirituality or just like who you are, just the way you like those type of experiences and those type of things that happen inside of you, those are ultimately the things that I believe that shape us in the way we see things and view things, and knowing that like there's something here, there's something within our own selves that is beyond us, that when we feel like we're inadequate, there's a side of us, there's a side and like a self that is always in its total power. It sits there,
Yeah.
and is willing and it wants us to accept it, and it wants us to embrace it. And it was just like, and that's also kind of like how I'm also kind of like in a sense of how I see the whole Phoenix in myself and thinking like and seeing like that, like there could be like a time where like I could possibly like like be sad or depressed or whatnot, but then I think about like the Phoenix aspect of myself, and I immediately just get out of that, and because I realize it's like I'm not that, or I'm better than that, I'm beyond that, knowing that like always like choosing, stepping into your power, you have to choose that like every day, it's a conscious decision you have to make. So it's just like I think just knowing that having that aspect of myself, like that's what the Phoenix like is to me, like that strength.
Nah, I got you. I got you. It's crazy. You say that, man. It's like you literally, like your dream literally is a depiction of what I done seen in Dragon Ball Super. Like they literally, like they got these Patara earrings, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's like two selves. They like equally yoked. You can't like the earrings that help you fuse, but the
Yeah,
two beings have to be like equally yoked, power level, like but it's like when you put the earrings on, they kind of do that, and that's what made me think about it. It's like you real life fuse with your higher self. That's what it made me think about. I'm like,
Yes, that's really, and that's also I just actually I tweeted a roomie a quote about that, about he said that how he was mixed so completely with love, that he was fused with love, that love became him and he became love. Like that's really, it's almost like um yeah, it's kind of like your divine self, like ultimately, like I said, we're like the beloved. We're like the beloveds of ourselves. There is, like I said, there's that supreme source, God, and stuff like that. But like I said, we're ultimately like we're the beloveds of our own self as the beloved, in a sense. You know, like that kind of makes sense. Like, you know, like kind of um like in a sense of like you don't be like necessarily like become God, but God becomes you, almost in a sense of like it's
it's like
crazy.
you surrender to
Yeah.
you like kind of surrender to the energy that's, because it's like you're not becoming a different person per se. You only embracing what's already been there all along.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
you don't have to go outside the norm. Like literally, God is you. It's like it's right there it's like right here in your nose. It's like the
Hmm.
breath that you breathe. It's like you take responsibility of your choice. It's like you said, like you got to make a conscious choice daily to
Oh
be
yeah,
your beloved self.
that's that you said that, like back when we were talking about earlier, and I completely just forgot my thought. That's what it is because it's like I could say that like I embrace my God self, then that like compared to someone's like someone always saying that's like you saying that you're a God, or that me saying I am God.
Yeah.
Like how I feel comfortable saying that because you know I handle myself and I move in a way, I love in a way, I treat people in a way that validates that.
Yeah.
Me saying I know that I would I'm tr- and I would take on the nature of God. In order for me to be able to say that, I need to take on the complete nature of God
Right.
and and be completely that, and just kind of like commit myself to that. I mean, not only that, but in the sense of us, in order for me to be able to say that, I have to hold myself fully accountable of every aspect of my being, my emotions, like what I do to people physically, like my growth, like my taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, everything like that. It's a complete like it's just like it's full accountability of your being in order for you to like embrace like that God self of yourself. It takes a full accountability from like body, soul, shadow, all that, spirit, all that. You own that means
You being the God of your life.
yes.
You not the God of everybody. It's like you the God of your life. You taking
Hmm.
control of what you can.
Yes.
Focusing on the things that are in your hands and in your control, and kind of
Hmm.
letting what you can't control, kind of like you surrender to that and you kind of flow with it. But like when you, like you said, like when you take control of you, it's like you can embody that. You can be that.
Yeah.
You can say what you can really say that because you actually treat yourself like that and you treat people like that. So it's like people feel the vibes,
Hmm.
and then they don't feel the vibes. And when they don't feel the vibes, it's like it's only a projection. And so it's
Yes.
like you can always tell. Like we were saying earlier, like you can always tell how people feel about God by how they
Hmm.
talk to you, by how they talk to the next person.
Hmm.
Yeah. But as we wrap up, man, this is great, man. Like I definitely leveled up. You
Oh
didn't
yeah,
hit
man.
me. Like I didn't got so many gems today, man. So is there anything that I was supposed to ask that I didn't? Anything that you wanted to bring up, tell the people about?
Um,
Any projects, any merch, anything that you got going, anything you want to share?
I would say the merch. I got just I know a lot like far as like putting my tweets on like on certain things. Uh, that's what I had showed you the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but I
All
haven't put
the
it out yet.
sweatshirts and masks and
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. I got that coming out. I was just kind of like working on like making sure like it's like the best quality of it, of like the material and whatnot. But other than that, yeah, I mean like just like right now, like I'm just like it's like I just got out of the military, so it's just like now it's just like Boii McCoy on leash type shit. So it's just
Come
like
into your
now,
real
like
freedom.
yeah, I'm going back. Just kind of like getting back to myself, you know. It's kind of like just getting back into like a routine of like you know just not even necessarily a routine, just really just living, you know,
Living
really.
life, sure.
But
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I definitely feel you and hear exactly what you're saying. Like, and it's nowhere you have to be. Like, you know, it's like people be putting so much pressure on life. Like, I gotta get this here. I gotta do this now. It's like, no, enjoy yourself. Like,
yeah.
chill, take a deep breath and relax. Let the people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on IG and Twitter, BOII _McCoy, MCCOY. That's Twitter and IG. Other than that, that's where I'd be at.
Man, y'all go follow him, man. Y'all better get these gyms. I'm telling you. I've been getting gyms from the last year or so. And like I leveled up. I'm able to say some of this stuff because of the impact and the energy that this guy provides, man. So go ahead and follow him, and I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Got some big things in the works. So see y'all on the next go round.